Good evening, and thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Madison Myers.
And I'm Mauricio Ortiz-Segura, and welcome to our 2023 Texas State Fair show.
It's such a great day here at the State Fair, and there's so much for fairgoers to see and do, but no matter how much research you do, there's always so much more you can learn about this 24-day extravaganza.
Yes, and in honor of Texas's 136th annual State Fair, here are 12 things you might not have known before. Dallas first opened its gates for the Texas State Fair back in 1886, making this the 136th year of the State Fair. It is also the longest running state fair in the country after they expanded from 17 days to 24 days in 1988. It originally started as two separate fairs, the Dallas State Fair and the Texas State Fair and Exposition. But just a year later, the two merged and became the fair we know and love today. Back in 1986, the Fair Park grounds were named a National Historic Landmark due to their success with the State Fair of Texas.
And the fairgrounds are home to the Cotton Bowl Stadium, where every year you can catch two big rivalry football games, the Red River Rivalry and State Fair Classic. However, nothing beats the time that the King of Rock and Roll performed at the Cotton Bowl back in 1956 during the 71st State Fair. They've also seen their fair share of U.S. presidents, including William Howard Taft, Woodrow Wilson, Richard Nixon, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush.
And for many years now, attendance has gone well over 2 million visitors, with approximately 2.2 million people visiting the fair in 2021 and 2.5 million in 2022. But because of these consistently large numbers of visitors every year, the Texas State Fair is officially the largest state fair in the country. Maybe the reason people always come back is to see the fair's beloved mascot, Big Tex, who welcomes fairgoers from over 50 feet in the air. He also comes with a 95-gallon cowboy hat and size 96 boots.
Or maybe people keep coming back for all the different kinds of mouth-watering foods you can find here at the fair. The infamous Fletcher's Corny Dog debuted at the Texas State Fair in 1942, and now over 500,000 corny dogs are sold annually in those 24 days. You can also expect some of the most interesting and creative fair foods, as all the food vendors compete in the Big Tex Choice Awards, which are named right before the opening of the fair.
And it is a gorgeous day out today and a perfect State Fair weather, might I add.
It certainly is, Mauricio, but I'm just hoping it stays this way. You know how this Texas weather is.
Yeah.
Let's check in with our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, on what we can expect. Kayla?
Good afternoon, North Texas. I am so happy to reporting here from the beautiful State Fair. Let's take a look at the weather. Right now it is 64 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling a little bit cooler at 63 degrees. Wind speeds are at 12 miles per hour, so it is pretty windy. We are going to see a beautiful clear sky, which will continue to tonight. Tonight it's going to cool down to 51 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling the same, and wind speeds are going to slow down to 2 miles per hour. Tomorrow we are going to get to continue to see that beautiful sun. It's going to be 62 degrees Fahrenheit, and wind speeds are going to pick up a little bit to 5 miles per hour. That's all I have for now. Stick around for this week's full weather update.
Thanks, Kayla. Every great tradition has a beginning, and the State Fair of Texas is one that spans for generations. ntTV's Sydney Jolivet was able to capture the story of joy and tradition and the true spirit of Texas.
The State Fair of Texas. It all began in 1886 when a group of forward-thinking Texans decided to showcase the many treasures of their state. What started as a modest exhibition of livestock, farming techniques, and local produce soon blossomed into the grand spectacle that is known today.
This is actually our 137th year celebrating all things Texan at the State Fair of Texas.
In its first year, more than 100,000 people attended. However, revenue was not what they expected it to be.
The fair is not what you see today back in 1886.
Over time, the fair expanded, purchasing 37 more acres, incorporating thrilling rides, captivating exhibits, and an abundance of culinary delights.
We've really evolved over the years from being just about agriculture to having something for everyone who attends the State Fair of Texas.
To say the fair endured the trials of time would not be doing it justice. Its popular success was shadowed by repeated fires, mishaps, and economic downturns. But the State Fair of Texas prospered immensely in the coming years.
Just like any event or business or organization, We've had challenges in our history and things that we've had to overcome. You think back to the year that Big Tex burned down, and we easily could have let that just be the end of Big Tex, but we didn't. Instead, we took what happened. People literally mourned that day, and we built Big Tex back bigger and better than ever before.
Through all the changes and challenges, the State Fair of Texas remained a cherished tradition. The fair became more than just an event. It became part of the collective Texan identity. And so, the legacy of the State Fair of Texas endured, weaving its story into the fabric of Texan history. For North Texas Television, I'm Sydney Jolivet.
The Midway Fair has been a State Fair of Texas staple since 1966, but so much has changed since then.
It has, and our live shot reporter Camille Perrin is live at Midway Park right now to show us what all there is to do. Camille?
Thanks, y'all. I'm here at the State Fair Midway, and it's a perfect day to be out here. The lines aren't nearly as long as they typically are, even for a weekday. The rides all seem to be in working order, and the food smells delicious. Despite the bright colors and modern references on the rides like the Hulk and Taylor Swift, this part of the fair, especially the carousel, is very historic. The Denzel Carousel is celebrating 1 century since it was built, though it didn't relocate to the fair until the 1950s. Texans have been enjoying these grounds since the late days of the Wild West. And in just 13 years, the fair will celebrate its 150th anniversary. I can't wait to see how fair organizers will outdo themselves then. Back to y'all at the desk.
If you know the State Fair of Texas, then you know that you have to pay a visit to the biggest man in Texas, Big Tex. However, did you know that he has some brand new boots to rock this year? See just what goes into designing the boots of the Texan Giants.
The biggest man in Texas, Big Tex, has made his annual return to the Texas State Fair. But this time, he's got some fresh new kicks. The 55-foot cowboy can be seen sporting his unique boots that were the winners of the 2023 Big Tex Boot Design Contest. The competition's winner this year was Jessica Bonilla, a 23-year-old Irving, Texas resident who works as a licensed social worker and runs a small business selling her art. Jessica made sure to add plenty of Texan detail to the cowboy's footwear.
From the Texas sunset that you see as the backdrop to livestock featured, you've got bats, you see butterflies. You really have to look super closely to find all of the hidden gems within his boots.
The idea for the contest started back in 2019 in honor of the fair's Celebrating Texas Creativity theme that year. They weren't able to host another contest or fair in 2020, though, due to COVID-19, which was the first time the fair hadn't been held since World War II. Despite the pandemic, they decided to bring it back for the fair this year. The folks who made the gargantuan boots, Lucchese Bootmaker, have their work cut out for them, as making size 96 boots is no easy feat. But neither was selecting Jessica as this year's contest winner.
It's a hard decision. We had an internal panel of judges at the State Fair of Texas that really looked at all of the different designs and finding one that could represent all things Texan. This is the most Texan place on earth, after all, and so Jessica's design really showcases so many different Texan elements.
If you want to catch a glimpse of these boots and more, make sure you walk in your biggest boots over to the fair.
Up, we'll tell you about all the foods that you have to try at the State Fair of Texas this year.
And we all know about the Texas Rodeo, but how much do you really know about its history? We'll have all the details when we come back.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
And an update regarding last Saturday's shooting at the State Fair. The alleged shooter is in jail charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Dallas police say it was a dispute between two people who knew each other. Shots were fired about 7:45 in the evening and 3 people received non-life-threatening injuries. They are listed in stable condition. Yesterday, the fair opened its gates several hours later and there was highly visible additional security. Today, the fair opened on time and its events running on schedule.
From watching one of the best rodeos in Texas to trying all of the weird fried food combinations, there's so much to do and try at the fairground that you're going to have to come back and try it all again and again and again. Exhibits such as Mundo Latino and Big Texas Discovery Farm highlight important parts of Texas's culture and are educational to visitors of all ages. Fairgoers can also check out all the different livestock shows and exhibits featuring lots of farm animals. But if none of that interests you, there's also live music at the Chevrolet stage with new artists every night. Last but certainly not least, there's an endless amount of rides, games, and food to enjoy at Midway Park.
Now that all sounds great, Mauricio, but me personally, one of my favorite things to do when I get to the State Fair is get myself a funnel cake.
Ooh, I could go for a funnel cake, but you know, I'm more of a turkey leg kind of guy, and there's just so much food to try here at the State Fair.
Indeed, there is, Mauricio. Our segment anchor, Melanie Garcia, has more on all the food that you can find at the State Fair. Melanie?
That's right, guys. The State Fair has added 31 new foods and drinks this year. Let's take a look.
The Texas State Fair is not only known for their livestock shows, classic rodeos, live music, and fun midway rides, but also known for their variety of creative foods sold by vendors across the event. If you've been thinking about what to eat at the State Fair, the winners for the Big Tex Choice Awards might be an option for you. Voted the best taste savory deep fried pho to the best taste sweet the Biscoff Delight cheesecake, and voted best creative the bourbon banana caramel sopapillas, you're destined to find your perfect food. The Texas State Fair has added 31 new foods and drinks to their menus this year. Vendors across Texas have come to Dallas to share their creative creations with the world. Taylor Austin has more to say.
You might not realize all the concessionaires are small businesses. So it's not like the State Fair of Texas has all of these concession stands. Each vendor is unique, so they set their own menu. Some of them focus just on one product, like the sopapillas I mentioned. It's actually a sopapilla factory, so all they do is sopapillas. And so they've got the bourbon banana caramel sopapillas, but they've also got different varieties, like a s'mores sopapilla. So many fried foods out at the fair each year for you to try, and foods that aren't fried. So you've really got to come out here more than once to be able to try all the different foods.
Foods will be discounted this Thursday for Thrifty Thursdays. So if you want to get some double stuffed fried Oreos like these, you can get them for 4 coupons on Thursday. That's all I have today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Of food here at the State Fair, but how much does it all cost?
No, that's exactly what I want to know. Luckily, our live shot reporter, Chris Cadorba, has more for us about those prices. Chris?
Thanks, guys. Now, the fair has never been a cheap outing, but this year you might be spending more than you have in previous years due to rising prices. In fact, you might even call it fairflation. With parking and entry tickets, it's about $45 just to get into the fair. Coupons are more expensive than they were in the past. $7 for corn dogs, $8 for lemonade, and even a brisket sandwich could run you as much as $16. Coupons are also equal to $1 now, which actually started back in 2022. In previous years, coupons used to be 25 or even 50 cents to the dollar, but now one coupon will get you exactly $1. Now, I'm going to get back to burning my money. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. And you know, Madison, I am loving this fall weather we're having.
Me too, Mauricio. The perfect State Fair weather, might I add. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, to see how long this beautiful weather is going to stick around. Kayla?
Thanks, you guys. If fall weather is what you were hoping for, I'm happy to report that you will be happy with this week's forecast. Right now in Gainesville, it is 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Over in Sherman, it is 63, and Fort Worth, it's 65. Across the state, we're seeing similar temperatures, a little bit warmer over in El Paso. It is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. In Amarillo, it is 72, and in Denton, Texas, it is 64. Now, this week week's forecast, we are going to get to enjoy the sun for the beginning of the week. Tuesday, we're going to enjoy that beautiful sun, a high of 75, a low of 52. Wednesday, a high of 82 and a low of 54. Thursday, a high of 84, a low of 58. Friday, a high of 88 and a low of 56. Saturday, we are going to begin to see a few clouds, but those won't stay, don't worry. A high of 88 and a low of 64. Sunday, back with the sun, a high of 88 and a low of 66. And Monday, those clouds are going to come back with a high of 87 and a low of 67. That's all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
When we come back, we have an inside look at the Cotton Bowl Stadium and more of its history.
And if you're interested in live music, stick around to find out who's performing here at the Chevrolet stage.
The 1959 National Rodeo was hardly the first rodeo, but it was the first rodeo for the State Fair of Texas.
We've come a long way since the days of cattle drives to Kansas and points north, but some things just don't change, like bronc riding, roping, and other displays of skills required by those whose everyday lives are lived on ranches. Rodeos evolved from old traveling fairs like Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, and with the expansion westward, rodeos continue to grow in popularity, with rodeos being held in venues like Madison Square Garden. A lot's happened since the golden age of the rodeo, and the rodeo may not be as prominent as it once was, but as long as there's roping, steer wrestling, bronc, and bull riding, it'll be a good time.
If you haven't gotten a chance to see a rodeo here at the State Fair of Texas, don't worry, because there's still the United Professional Rodeo Association World Finals. This Thursday through Sunday, you can come out to the Coliseum and watch professional cowboys and cowgirls compete in the UPRA Rodeo Finale.
And every year, the State Fair invites different artists to perform on the Chevrolet stage.
Our live shot reporter, Chelsea Jones, is at the Chevrolet stage right now watching this year's 2023 resident artists perform. Chelsea, how is it going out there?
Thanks, guys. That's right. It's week 3 of the fair, and the Chevrolet stage has a full schedule of the musical performances. Tonight we have the Zazarak Jazz Band. They've been playing since 5:45, and we'll have another performance tonight at 8:30 p.m. Check out the full lineup for the rest of the week with artists from Dallas Borough, Forever Motown, Charlotte Sands, and We the Kings. You won't want to miss these performances. And if you can't make it to the fair, don't worry. You can check out the State Fair of Texas Spotify playlist to enjoy all 24 days of the bands. If you don't mind me, I'm going to head over to the Chevrolet stage and enjoy with the crowd. Back to you all at the studio.
Now, Mauricio, I have to talk about the Rangers. They had such a great game against the Astros. Did you happen to catch any of it?
I did. I watched the whole thing live, and oh my goodness, this might be our year. But I know our sports anchor, Ramiro Cuellar, has more to say on this. How about it, Ramiro?
That's right. I'll have all the action from last night's Rangers and Astros game, as well as a closer look into why the Cotton Bowl means so much to our state fair. I'll have this and more right after this short break.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny. Good evening, my name is Amanda Hasbell and I'm joining you here today in the Union parking garage. Today we're going to be going over how to drive safely in the parking garage. Let's go see. Oh my god, this girl just got hit by a car. Let's go see what happened. Ma'am, are you okay? Did you see that lady hit me with a car? Yeah, we did. I got it all on video. Oh my god. Let's go over here and talk about how we can prevent that. Yeah, not the hospital. Well, right now we're going to ask you a couple questions on how we can drive safely in the parking lot. What are ways that we can be aware of our surroundings?
Oh, we can look both ways.
Jenna, also, how about putting the distractions away?
Yes, just like our phones, turning our music down, and also not focusing on our passengers.
Where can you get information on how to get a parking pass?
Transportation.unt.edu.
If you park in a garage, make sure you pay on the app or look for further instructions on how you should pay.
And remember, no pass, no park. Let's all try to keep our mean green community safe.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Drive safe.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
We start in Houston, where the Texas Rangers drew first blood against the Astros in the Texas battle for the American League Championship Series. The Rangers' pitching game was on full display, with Jordan Montgomery going 6 innings without giving up a run, outlasting the Astros starting pitcher Justin Verlander. The Rangers only needed 2 runs by Jonah High and Leodoy Taveras to secure the 2-0 victory. The Rangers managed to keep the impressive playoff form against an Astros team that struggled at bat. The second game of the series is currently being played. It's currently in the bottom of the 8th, with the Astros leading by 1 run, 5-4. Now, moving on to some UNT news, the Mean Green football team obtained their first victory in the American Athletic Conference with a dominant 45-14 score against Temple. Junior quarterback Chandler Rogers had an outstanding performance, completing 307 yards with 4 touchdown passes. Jamori McLean was his favorite target, receiving 163 yards only on 6 grabs. The UNT defense delivered a stellar performance, securing 3 interceptions and holding the Temple offense scoreless during the second half, making it their strongest display of the season. Mean Green football will make their return this Saturday as they take on Tulane, the current AAC leaders. And now, the Cotton Bowl is an emblematic Texas stadium. I talked to the Cotton Bowl event manager and some football fans to learn more about its history.
30, under the name Fair Park Stadium, has since become iconic in the state of Texas and has been the venue for many important events.
We're right here, we're in the heart of Dallas, and the World Cup, actually, this stadium had turf in it until like 1993. They pulled up the turf, put down grass, and in 1994, this was one of the sites for that World Cup.
The stadium has been the home for many teams, including the Dallas Cowboys from 1960 to 1971. And it hosted the annual Cotton Bowl Classic from 1937 to 2009. For many Texans, the Cotton Bowl has become more than just a stadium.
The Cotton Bowl is a landmark.
for the Dallas, Texas, sure. And for the state of Texas, too.
Today, the Cotton Bowl is still the home for the annual Red River Showdown between the University of Oklahoma and UT Austin. The rivalry has been ongoing since the year 1900, with the game being held at the Cotton Bowl since 1932.
It's a huge tradition here for Dallas and also for Texas and Oklahoma. It's one of the biggest sports rivalries there is. And, we're happy to come here every single year.
Despite not having a professional or collegiate team playing regularly at the stadium, the Cotton Bowl still generates a substantial amount of revenue for the city of Dallas.
This stadium, just this one football game, the Texas OU game, if you take the Grambling Prairie View, Texas OU, State Fair, it brings over $90 million in revenue to the city of Dallas.
The next time you visit this Texas landmark, you may notice some changes, as renovations are already in the planning stages.
So we're widening the concourse, we're adding some escalators, we're making media suites in the north end zone. So it's absolutely going to be
Renovations will occur in 2 phases over the next 2 years, which means that the renovations will not affect the next year's State Fair. And well, that's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ramiro. And Manny, this has been an absolutely stellar night. I mean, the weather is perfect. There's no clouds in the sky, plenty of people around, and the atmosphere is just awesome.
I mean, the atmosphere is amazing. All the different families, kids, games. It's been a great time. I have to check this out after, I'm not going to lie.
And Manny, I've kind of got a secret gift for you at the end here. I went shopping a little early, and I decided to get us some cotton candy, okay? And I don't know what is it, pink flavored or strawberry?
Yeah, that's the best flavor.
Oh, absolutely. Well, why don't you get a nice handful there.
Awesome.
Awesome. I'll get another handful here.
We got a cheers.
Cheers. Clink. And thank you for watching ntTV Nightly News and for tuning into our 2023 Texas State Fair show.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.